Hello, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads and welcome to my favourite books of the year video. This is a video I don't think I've done before. I've never done the best and worst. I think I've done like a roundup sort of video. But this year I decided that I wanted to do my favourite books of the year, and I had quite a few. It's more of a books I really enjoyed this year because I definitely had a few different books that sort of came up on this list and for different reasons. So I will just get straight into it and you will find out. They're in no particular order. I don't have a favourite book of the year. My reading year wasn't like the best. It was good. But I found there was a lot of okay books that were just okay, and I've sort of just been getting on and reading as much as I can. The first book I'm going to talk about is The House of in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Kline, which is about a man called Linus who works for the government agency that protects magical children and their well-being. So he has to go to some orphanages that have magical children in, and basically assess and evaluate if they are right, if they're doing the right thing and things like that, if they're appropriate and all sorts. And he gets assigned a special case, and because of this special case he basically has to spend a month there getting to know these children and their living conditions. And yeah, it was very interesting, very sweet, very whimsical, and I very much enjoyed middle grade this year, and this is a middle grade feeling adult book. Everyone's been talking about this book, so I'm sure you probably heard about it, but it's just one that I've been really enjoying and definitely made it to my favourite books of the year. Another one from December is Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James, which is from the Pages & Co series. And this is about a young girl called Tilly who lives in a bookshop with her grandparents, and she discovers that she has this ability to book wander, which means she can go in and out of books and explore her favourite stories, which I found absolutely lovely. It was so sweet, very whimsical. Again, very enjoying the whimsical books this year. It was definitely very layered. It had an interesting story. There was lots of real life fictional characters that we would know. So Anne of Green Gables was there, Alice in Wonderland, and such. There was lots of different references to different fictional stories that we know and love, so that was one thing I really enjoyed about that. I can't wait to listen to the next one. I also put Giant Days by John Allison, and I basically read the entire Giant Days series this year on Squid. All the volumes are on there and I literally flew through them. I think there's like 13, I want to say. It's about 3 young girls when they start university, and I think they're in Sheffield. I think they go to university in Sheffield, and this was so good. I really like this. It felt very reminiscent of being at uni myself. It felt very nostalgic. It was very funny. I started picking this up during lockdown. I had the first lockdown here in the UK, and I kept returning to them until I finished them over the summer. Another book I put on here is definitely not one that would have made it to the best books I've ever read, but it is called The Worst Best Man by Sosa, and that is not because it's a bad book. It's not. It's brilliant. It's a really good book. It's about a woman who is a wedding planner, and she gets offered this job that would really change her life, but she has to work with the brother of the man who jilted her on the day she was due to get married, and they are in competition with the man who jilted her. And yes, it is very interesting, and it's a romance, obviously, and it was the first sort of romance book I'd read of this kind in such a long time. I've seen films that have these sorts of premises, but I didn't realise how much I'd enjoy it and how much fun it would be, and I think it was sort of like a gateway into me being more interested in more romance. I picked up a few more since then, but I still haven't read a whole lot, but I thought I'd include it in this list because it did feel like a gateway for me, and I really wanted to add it into this list for that fact. I've also got, I think this might be my favourite book of the year, You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, because this was beautiful. This is a YA novel about a young black girl in her secondary school, and she gets basically turned down from her her university of choice, and basically she finds out that the prom queen gets to a scholarship to their university of choice, and basically this is the only way she's going to get to go to the university that she's desperate to go to, and or the college in America, and she basically becomes tries to become prom queen, and it has a female romance, and it's really cute, really sweet, and it's the best YA book I've read in a really long time, and it tackles obviously a few different prejudice. It tackles a few different types of prejudice in each aspect of her life, and I really liked it, and I thought it was really good fun, and I listened to it, and I'm going to definitely buy a copy because I would say it's one of my favourite YA books I've read in a while, and it just was very different to a lot of my favourite books, but I felt like this one I got so much enjoyment out of. Another YA book I got so much enjoyment out of is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. Me and my boyfriend, I think it was during February, it was before lockdown, we watched the film adaptation of this on Netflix, and I said, oh, it's fine, I had no interest in reading these books. And then we watched the first two, and I was like, I have to know what happens in the third book, even though the third film is not coming out anytime soon. So I listened to all three of the books on script, and that was the best choice I made this year, I think. I found it really fun. It's about a young girl called Lara Jean who writes letters to almost loves or almost crushes or almost somethings that she's had, and basically it is her way of sort of closing that chapter. But when she accidentally finds herself with all these letters being sent out by somebody, she is gutted because people start to find out that she fancied them. She had a burning crush or burning love for them, and that is really funny, and there is some very whimsical aspects to it, very funny aspects to it, and the core of this plot is a fake dating, which I've discovered this year that I love fake dating, so hopefully 2021 brings me some fake dating. Another book that I added to this list is Grown Ups by Marian. This is about a family with, they have a bit of a profile, they're in a little bit of the public eye in Ireland. It's about three siblings, I believe, and their families and the offshoots of their families, and it's just sort of modern day family saga without the saga aspect. It's more like over a course of a year or so. There's some relationship makeups, breakups, some people pretending that they are the most amazing they could ever be, and there's some suspicion, and it's very it deals with a lot of different aspects of contemporary fiction, like culture, like there's a lot of like a food obsession and discussing that, and it is very plain as day, and I really liked it and I really enjoyed it. It's a nice chunky book that I really got sunk into, and I really enjoyed that. It was quite early on in the year, I think, but I definitely enjoyed that. 10 minutes 38 seconds in the Strange World by Elif is one I really enjoyed. This is about a prostitute called Tequila Lila, and she has been killed, and she is in a bin. Her body's in a bin, and basically she has 10 minutes 38 seconds as she's dying, and her brain is shutting off, and it's about the things that she remembers about her life. This is also set in Turkey, and I thought this book was beautifully written. It really captured my attention, my imagination. It was so interesting. There was such a wonderful cast of characters in here, and yeah, I really liked this. I thought it was really interesting, really emotional, really evocative. Yeah, it was really good, and I definitely recommend that one if you hadn't read that at all. And my last two, I've got the Ocean Squid Explorers Club by Alex Bell. As you may know, I love the Polar Bear Explorers Club series by Alex Bell. This is an offshoot of that series, and it's set in the Explorer Club world. And this one is about a young girl who really wants to be an explorer and likes to follow the lead of Stella Starflake Pearl, who is in the first series. But she is a marine, like she likes to, I believe I read a proof copy of this early in the year, so I haven't actually, I can't quite remember the details of it, but she basically goes on an adventure. It's a middle grade again, but I absolutely love this series, could not recommend it enough. I would suggest starting with the Polar Bear Explorers Club, which I have a like chatty discussion video on. I'll link that down below if you want to hear more about the series, but this is about an offshoot of that. I also, last book on here, definitely not my favourite. Like I said earlier, I think my favourite might be You Should See Me a Crown, because I can remember it quite vividly. Is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is one of the books I read quite early on in the year. I really like Leigh Bardugo's Six of Crows duology, and everything else in that I do really enjoy, but Six of Crows is, for me, my favourite. And this is about a young girl called Alex. Well, she's young, she's a young adult, called Alex, who is enrolled in Yale University after an personal accident, which we don't know much about, and she gets involved in these like secret magical societies. It's very like dark academia vibes, and I really enjoyed it. There are a few things I found a bit weird. There is a scene that might it has a scene of it has a sexual assault scene which is handled a bit weirdly. I can see how it fits with the story, but it's just very odd, and it may be triggering to some people, other than the fact that it's odd in terms of the actual scene. And I know that's put a lot of people off, but the whole rest of the story I found to be really interesting, and if that is something that doesn't affect you, then I definitely would recommend this book because I loved it. Sorry I haven't actually been able to show you any of these books. I am still with my boyfriend, because we're in sort of basically like another lockdown in the UK. So I don't have, basically I only have the books that I'm going to read. Spoiler alert up here if you wanted to have a look at those, but that's it. That's my best books of the year. The books I enjoyed the most. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It's not necessarily favourite books of the year, best books I've ever read. It's a bit of a mixed bag, a few different reasons for me enjoying these books, but yeah, I did have some good books I read this year, and there are so many more I could talk about, but we'll be here all day. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you soon.